BREXIT backlash. May faces revolt after asking EU if Britain can remain in customs union. The government has risked a Brexit backlash after appearing to concede Britain will wait longer than many hoped to enjoy the global trade benefits of leaving the European Union. The Department for Exiting the EU will today publish what its ambitious plan to smooth Britain's departure as it seeks to drive the Brexit process forward by setting out more detailed visions of the future. A policy paper will propose an unspecified but time-limited interim period after Britain formally leaves the EU that is expected to be 2019 and to entail also quitting Europe's free trade single market and customs union. During this interim, Britain could maintain a temporary customs union with the continent to protect trade from disruption while new permanent arrangements are put in place. The document suggests Britain would also use the interim period to negotiate bold new free trade deals with other countries around the world, something it is banned from doing now as an EU member. But a government source said last night that while it wanted to agree and if possible sign deals with non-European trading partners during the interim, the UK did not expect to put such agreements into practice until the interim period ends. That was because the UK expects to be barred from implementing the new deals during the interim, although that could change depending on future negotiations with Brussels. Brexit Secretary David Davis has also spoken in the past of there always being a time lag between agreeing trade deals and putting them into effect, making the whole process difficult to complete in a short time anyway. The future partnership paper is not expected to say how long the interim period should be and will stress that details will be for negotiators to hammer out with Brussels. Most pro-Brexit ministers have indicated they would accept an implementation period of around 2 years after Brexit to stop business facing a sudden cliff edge of change when Britain leaves the bloc, but there could be dismay if the UK also has to wait to gain from deals with other countries around the world. Today's document is the first of a series about how Britain envisages life after Brexit. It is seen as part of moves to push Brexit discussions onto more substantive matters than issues like our divorce bill, which Mr. Davis is arguing in Brussels cannot be finalised until the wider shape of future relations is decided. The papers also aim to counter claims the UK is unprepared more than a year after the referendum vote to leave. Today's paper suggests routes to the most frictionless possible trade in goods with the EU after Brexit. During the interim period, Britain would maintain close association with Europe's customs union. Thereafter, the paper proposes 2 alternative permanent solutions, including the UK managing a new customs border with Europe, made as streamlined as possible, for example by letting traders calculate their own duty. The second option is a partnership with the EU based on aligning approaches to make a customs border unnecessary. The paper is not meant for immediate discussion with Brussels but will be discussed with businesses and others tomorrow. The government will set out proposals for the post-Brexit border between Ireland and Northern Ireland, which is on the agenda for Mr. Davis's next talks in Brussels at the end of this month. Ireland's EU Commissioner Phil Hogan was yesterday quoted criticising the UK for conflicting messages about Brexit and for having a high level of delusion about what is required to be done, as he claimed British ministers still don't realise that the other 27 member states have to agree to this transition period of 2 or 3 years, or whatever they are going to be seeking. Mr. Hogan, who oversees EU agriculture policy, urged Mrs May to consider staying in the EU customs union to reduce risks both to trade and the Northern Ireland peace deal. Britain insists it does not want a return to the old hard border between Ireland and the North. Labour former Shadow Chancellor Chris Leslie, a leading supporter of the Open Britain campaign group, said, "It looks like the new unified position in the cabinet is to return the government to the territory of wanting to have their cake and eat it." Ministers claim we can leave the customs union and yet still achieve the most frictionless customs agreement anywhere in the world, but with absolutely no detail about how such a miraculous new system will be achieved. It is a fantasy to pretend we can have the freest and most frictionless trade possible with our largest partner when the government remain intent on pulling Britain out of the customs union. Tom Brake, the Liberal Democrats' Brexit spokesman, said the government's extreme Brexit will end up leaving Britain poorer. He added, even if they were agreed to by the EU, these proposals will only delay the economic pain caused by leaving the customs union. We still face the prospect of more red tape for businesses, longer queues at our borders and higher prices for consumers once the transition comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and don't forget to subscribe English News Hub for new excited videos.